Mr. Biter here with the notes on matter. Some key questions for this unit. What is matter? What is matter made of? What are the physical and chemical properties? And what is a characteristic property? Well, matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. That is the general definition for what matter is. It encompasses almost everything that we know about. But it's useful to think about what matter is not. And matter is not energy. So things like light and sound and heat are not matter. Think of matter as things that you can touch and you can hold, things that have mass. And matter is made up of atoms. Atoms are too tiny to see with our eye, but everything is made up with them. And there are different types of atoms, and these are called elements. They're the smallest building blocks of everything. And all the things that we know of are made up of these atoms. And you can find all these types of atoms on the periodic table of elements. So if you want to know if something is an atom or not, or if it's a type of element, you only have to look at a periodic table to see if it's an element. There are physical and chemical properties of everything. And when you look at something, in order to tell things apart, we use these properties. Examples of properties include color, solubility, boiling point, density, magnetism. And just think about how we can tell different things apart. It's because they have different colors. They do different things when exposed to different temperatures. So we can tell things apart by their properties. And these are physical properties, and that we're not actually going to change what it is to look at that property. Chemical properties, however, need to actually make something new from that substance to find out what it is. So if something tarnishes or rusts, if it is flammable, it can catch on fire, it combusts. And if it reacts with another substance, those are chemical properties. So, for instance, if something produces rust, it might be iron. So that is a property of iron, is that it rusts. Silver has a property of tarnishing. So if it has metallic luster, right, which is a physical property, how shiny it is, but it tarnishes, that gives us a chemical property. And we can use properties to identify substances, what things are. And when we do that, that's called a characteristic property. And density can be a characteristic property. All metals have different densities. So if we can figure out the density of a substance, we know what element or what metal that is. So if we look at iron pyrite or fool's gold, and we measure its density compared to that of real gold, we can know that it is iron pyrite and not real gold. We're using a characteristic property, which is density. So if I take the metal and it measures 4.8, I know that it is iron pyrite and not real gold, which is much more dense. So we can use characteristic properties to identify substances. And that's really useful because we can find out what things are.